We are always told that success comes from hard work. But what if you're doing right things and you're still not moving? In my academic journey, I've learned that action is not the only part of the equation. There are four forces that shape your results: your thoughts, your words, your actions, and internal state. Let's dive in. We spend the majority of our time in our thoughts, unless you're a super extroverted person. But in academia, many of us are actually introverts. We need some time to think. And of course, we sometimes overanalyze, we overthink, and we spend a lot of time in our thoughts. But thoughts play a crucial role in shaping your reality. Thoughts make your beliefs. And depending on what your beliefs are, you act unconsciously in certain way in everyday situations. For example, if you keep thinking that you're not worthy of success, your brain starts filtering the world that way. Famous neuroscientist, millionaire, and author James Doty says that if you tell yourself something is not possible, it is not possible. As James Doty puts it, it's not some woo science. It is actually how our brain works. Our default mode network in our brain is listening to our constant thoughts, which comprise our belief. First of all, ask yourself, what are you thinking the majority of your day? If you keep repeating certain thoughts, it becomes your belief, and our beliefs shape our reality. Just like placebo effect. Why does the placebo work? It is due to our belief. If we believe that this tablet, this drug helps our body, even if it doesn't contain any kind of healing components in it, that drug is going to help you. Your biochemistry will turn on, your body by itself will start healing this or the other condition. And ask any kind of doctor, they will all tell you that they'd rather work with patients who believe in their healing than those who do not. Words reveal our misalignment or actually reinforce our internal beliefs. Think about it. If words do not reflect your internal beliefs, then you spend a lot of energy in making up the words, in controlling what you're about to say, and so on. But if they are in alignment with your internal beliefs, you do not have to spend any energy on controlling or filtering your words. Words that we utter actually can weaken our beliefs very much. Let's say internally, one can think that they are able to achieve certain goal, but in order to stay humble, or in our culture, for example, there are many people who believe in evil eye and they do not want to brag. Due to Soviet legacy, people were trained to stay in their lane, never show off, never show good sides, because that would make them different from others. So our parents and ourselves, for example, not the younger generation, but a lot of the millennials, they are trained to stay in their lane. It's not seen as a good thing to talk well about themselves. It seems as bragging. If you think inside that you believe that you'd achieve a certain milestone, but in order to stay in your lane, in order to be modest, you keep saying, I'm not sure I'm going to achieve this, I'm not sure this is going to work for me, then sooner or later those words would catch up with your beliefs, because you will start believing whatever you're saying yourself, and that shapes our reality. So we have to watch our mouth. We need to ask ourselves, do my words encourage me or they sabotage me? When we think about something, we are visual creatures, we visualize it. There's a lot of visualization techniques that are going around, and sometimes people think that visualization is enough, that to sit and visualize. In early 2000s, there was a book that came out which took the world by storm, that was called The Secret, and it was very in trend at the time, but a lot of people didn't get the main core, and I think it missed certain things. The Secret book said that you have to visualize, and visualize, but it missed the part of the action. When we talk about visualization, it doesn't work on its own. It's part of the whole system, but it's a very powerful tool. Some people like to put visualization into work through vision boards, where they put up images of certain things that they'd like or that they associate with on a board and literally look at it every day. There is a scientific evidence for these vision boards working. For example, neuroscientist Tara Sword-Bieber, professor in Harvard and author of the books linking neuroscience and visualization, she herself mentions that she uses vision boards all the time, and every single thing that she's put on it, she has been able to achieve. In my personal experience, I've never made vision boards myself, but I used to write my goals a lot, but nowadays I do not, just because I am more clear on what my goals are. So I do not see the necessity of writing them and looking at them every day. But there was a period of time that I followed Brian Tracy's technique, which briefly is writing down your 10 goals that you'd like to achieve by the end of this year, and putting it in present tense and putting a date on it. So for example, I have a red Mercedes, this kind of model, by December 20th, 2025. And writing those goals every day, you write on one clear page. Next day, without looking on the previous page, you flip it and you write those 10 goals again, and you will notice that those 10 goals will not be the same. They will not be repeating, because this exercise reveals what is indeed important for you. Though that goal that is indeed important will keep repeating. Actions are very important. Without actions, we still cannot realize our goals in our physical world. But actions is not everything. I'm sure you have seen so many people working so hard, but they're still struggling. They're still struggling to meet ends. When I see in winter, those hard-working people, cleaners, when they're working at negative 40 degrees outside sweeping the street, it is hard work, but many of them are still struggling. In academia, I had a lot of PhD colleagues when I was doing masters in the US. They would stay in the lab day and night. Day and night, they would actually live in the lab. But were they happy, or did this hard work come at the expense of their health later? Many of them really either burnt out, or they did transition later on, but at what expense? They did not have really good experience during PhD. So action is very important, but when the action comes through force, not flow, we tend to burn out. Action through flow can be seen as hard work to somebody else, but to you, it would feel a lot like an enjoyment, a pleasure. The concept of flow is described in the book that's called The Flow by Csikszentmihalyi, a Hungarian author, and he mentions that when the person gets into this certain state, emotional state, when they do not even notice how much time passed, they are so deep in their work, that's the state of mind that's called flow. And when we work in flow, we have to be enjoying that, and that comes at the cost of aligning with your priorities. So taking action is important, but if it comes not through force, but it comes through flow. And the fourth force that I'd like to mention is internal state. If your internal beliefs align with your words, align with the action that you take every day towards your goal, then you automatically will be in a good internal state, because you'll feel good about yourself, that you're taking these little steps every day. They are aligned with what you're saying and what you'd like to get. And your internal state is the state that you already have what you want. And that's the state where you feel like that you don't even have to work hard towards this goal. The goal is already at your disposal. You feel that you already achieved what you'd like. And that comes from expectancy. The goal cannot be achieved without expectancy. The expecting comes from working with your internal state of mind. Nothing outside of your world, nothing outside will bring peace inside. We think that those certain goals will bring calm, peace, but in fact, everything comes from within. And your internal state is the first indicator whether you are happy or not. And your internal state is the first indicator whether you'll achieve that goal or not. So those are the four main components of success or achieving your goal. Success could be interpreted differently by everyone. Success is what makes you happy. Success is the worthy goal that you're working on. In the next video, I'll share more personal story on this journey on discovering these major components for me, and I'll share why it's very bad to put your goals on a pedestal. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.